Hey, I'm Kendi, this is Kendi Creates, and I have a project vlog for you today. So this little corner of the internet is where I share, so far, all knitting content. We'll see where that goes in the future. I'd like to spend a little bit more time sharing other creative adventures that I have, but stay tuned for that. We'll see how that turns out in the future. But this is a project vlog for a tee that I knit up in the spring. And to be honest with you, this has actually been done for a solid 6 weeks. And I'm just now filming the intro video. I was so hyped to start this project once I got the yarn that I just dove right in and thought I'll film the intro eventually. And here we are, a solid 6 weeks after finishing a garment that I started back in March. So I am knitting up the Skyline Tee by Tori Yu. It is a boxy tee with a saddle shoulder construction that has a rib detail that extends down the arm. It's a really cool, just like boxy linear construction that I love that silhouette. I've had this pattern on my radar for quite a while. So once I found the yarn that I intended to use for it, I just snatched it right up and started right away. So I'll actually give you a sneak peek real fast of the finished project and just let you know I absolutely love this pattern, and I'm already working on my second version of it as we speak. So the pattern, like I said, is called the Skyline Tee. It's by Tori Yu, and the measurements that it accommodates go from a 34-inch bust up to a 66-inch bust, and incorporates, I think, 4 to 6 inches of recommended positive ease. So there's a little bit of wiggle room on both ends of the continuum there of the size range. So it has a nice good range for sizing. I knitted up in this size 4, I believe, which ended up being a really lovely amount of ease through the body. And for the yarn, I am using this from Twisted Sister, this is from Creo. It is their Twisted Sister fingering weight. I think it's 2-ply. Yes, it is an 85-15 merino wool mulberry silk combo. And I picked this up at Nash Yarn Fest when I was there in March. So Nash Yarn Fest in Nashville was my very first knit festival, yarn festival, and I loved it. There were several colorways at the Creo's booth that I just sat with and was trying to snatch up and find different projects that I could use, and I ended up deciding on Bramble. And there's that yarn in all of its beauty. And let's see, I used 2 skeins, and I used up to the last inches of those skeins. I really wanted to get it done in 2, and I did. And so that was a wonderful, wonderful little bonus. But I'm glad you're here. I hope you enjoy this project vlog, and I absolutely love this pattern. Check it out, and check out my project page on Ravelry for my version of it. we're about a week in, giving a little progress update after work, and I realized I started filming in the middle with my needles in the middle of the row, which makes it a little hard to show you where I am, to like hold it up and have it kind of make sense on the screen. So I'm going to speed purl my way across so I can give you a better visual of where I'm at. Okay. So here we are. Progress so far. So you can see the top, that rib detail on the sleeves, and you can see little front and back action. I'm getting close to the point to where I can actually add the collar and get a, much more clear sense of how this looks, but this is where we are. And my goal this week is to join under the arms in the round and to add the collar. And an interesting development is that I realized after doing a little bit more math that I might need a little bit more yarn. So I went ahead and put in an order, and that was delivered today. So I ordered one more skein of the Twisted Sister sock yarn from, and I need to figure out how to pronounce this, but so I put in another order for one more skein. I really don't think I will need very much of this, but I'd rather have it and not need it at this point than to kind of panic yarn chicken at the end. So it came in the mail today. This is the second skein of what I got at Nash Yarn Fest. And the one that I got delivered today, there is a little bit of variation, and I'm not quite sure if that will come across in the video or not, but there is a little bit of variation between the two skeins, which is expected. So when I was at Nash Yarn Fest, I wanted to try and get all the same batch, which I did by picking the name on the side of the label. I picked two that were in the same color, hoping that that was linked to dye lot. But nonetheless, I anticipate some variegation. So I was sitting here thinking about how I wanted to incorporate the two new skeins in a way that looks a little bit more blended in case there is any variation. There's this very abrupt delineation between one skein and the next. And so what I'm formulating in my mind right now anyway is to go ahead and continue the first skein. I'm got about this much left at the moment. No idea how many grams that is. But my plan is to continue the front until I join in the round underneath the sleeves. Then go in with the same initial skein, do the collar, and ideally I'm able to do both sleeves with that first skein. Then my plan is to continue the body and basically work it as a fade at that point. So I'm not quite sure what the math will be at this point, but initially I'm thinking it will be 2 rows of the first skein, 1 row of a new skein. Do that for a section, and then switch to 1-to-1 row, or round, I should say, until I'm done with the first skein. Then continue with the second skein, just round for round, nonstop with that one, until I need to incorporate a third if I need to for the body. Now ideally I don't need that third skein, and I can just have it on hand for a future project. But if I do need it, I will incorporate it in the same way. So begin to blend in 2 rows of the original skein to 1 row round of the new skein, get it down to 1-to-1, and then eventually, actually it probably would be better to do 2-to-1, 1-to-1, 1-to-2, and then solid second skein. So now that I Now that I have said that out loud, that makes sense. So some math will need to happen. Some math. I'm not going to make this calculus or anything, but that's my plan for now. This is where I'm at. And like I said, my plan this week is to finish the front enough to join in the round, then go back, do the collar and the sleeves, and then determine what my like fade pattern will be for the remainder of the body with the new skeins. So fingers crossed that works. If not, we can always frog it and try something different. We've learned nothing else with knitting is that we can always stop, rewind, regroup, and try it again. Okay. First try on here at the office, and here's where we are. I am at the point where I'm going to start adding the ribbing for the sleeves. I feel like this is a good length for the sleeve. And I went ahead and added in a purl stitch right before the rib. So when you look at the pattern online, you've got the rib of the saddle, and then this first one and the very back one goes away, and it kind of comes down to just these ribs down the sleeve. And I wanted to keep this continuation, so I just added in a purl stitch at the beginning and the end of that section. And I think it's kept that rib detail, like that uninterrupted line of rib detail, instead of bringing it in and having a smaller, more narrow rib detail on the sleeve, which I like. But so we are. Got a good amount of ease in the body, and I'm thrilled so far. My goal is to have, I have a training on Saturday, so that will mean like 6 full hours of uninterrupted knitting while I do some continuing education. It's a very cool psychedelic symposium, so psychedelic use in therapy and therapeutic applications of psychedelics. So very, very cool symposium. I'm looking forward to it. I'll have a lot of knit time. So I want to get this sleeve finished, second sleeve finished, and I want to be just working away on the body. Oh, other thing, I think the 2 skeins that I got of this yarn at Nash Yarn Fest are like close enough. I don't think there's a lot of variation between the 2 skeins, so I think I got them from the same batch. The sleeve is the second skein, and I think you can maybe see, I don't know. It's so subtle if you can. And I started doing a little bit of a fade of the second skein in the body, and then determined that like I could not differentiate one skein from the next. So either the fade was working or the skeins were close enough that I didn't need to do the fade at all. So I said, screw it, and just am knitting with the second skein. And I can't tell that there's any delineation at all between the two. The other thing is I did make another acquisition. As I was knitting the sleeves, I was doing magic loop, and the needle that I had just wasn't quite long enough to effectively do magic loop, and my patience was running really thin, so I went ahead and ordered the Chaogu mini set. So the one that comes in the little bitty, it's right here. The one that comes in the little red pouch. So this one has 2-inch and 3-inch needles. So there's the 3-inch guy and the 2-inch guy. And it comes from sizes 0 to 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different needles in it. So I've had this on my wish list for a very long time. I have the size 4 to 8 set. I love, 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 love. I just like the feel of the short needles. So I tend to use those more than my 5-inch interchangeables. So I went ahead and bought them, and it has made knitting up the sleeve a breeze. So I trust I'll be able to get this one done, get the second one done this week, and hopefully have this guy done in a matter of 2 weeks. That would be really exciting because the weather's warming up and I really want to wear it. Okay, let's try this on. Show you where I'm at. I'm headed to work, so we're just gonna throw this on over what I got. But this is the progress I made while I was at the conference. Let's have a look in the mirror. Yeah, okay, so I put a marker in to mark where I was at, and so I finished this entire sleeve and bound it off. This sleeve was already done. Where was I? Rewind, remembering. But okay, so this is what I got done on the conference. This sleeve was already done. So I put a marker here. I got that sleeve done and then bound off. And then on the body, I was right there. So I got a couple inches of progress on the body. We're definitely looking more finished at this point. So still great amount of ease in the body. The sleeves are a little fitted, but I trust that this ribbing detail will open up quite a bit and give me a little bit more ease in the sleeves. But this is where we're at. I'm at the point in the project now, and I talked about this in my unsweater video, but I am like ready for this to be done. And that doesn't necessarily translate to like more motivation to work more on the project and get it off my needles. It's kind of like, I'm just kind of done with it. But that's also partly because it's getting big, it's getting heavier, it's harder to like carry with me. It's too heavy to like walk and knit. And so really the only time I can work on it is if I'm sitting, watching YouTube or a show or something. So I'm kind of limited on how and where I can work on it comfortably anyway. So I'm having the desire to cast on a new project, and I'm waiting just a little bit longer before I do that to see if casting on the project will actually motivate me to finish this like quicker, or if that will distract me even further from where I am right now, which could go either way. But this is where we are after the conference. I haven't worked on it since. It's just been a couple days, but I'm taking a little bit of a break from it and still tickled to be done with it very, very soon. She's off the needles. So I bound off, I think last night, and woven all the ends. And it is time to block. I used every last bit of those two skeins. Literally, this is all I have left other than like the tiny little bits from weaving in, but I made good use of both of those skeins, and I ended up not using the third skein. It did have quite a bit more variation, and so I was hoping and doing my best to make just the two work, and I'm okay with it. I would like for it to block out and stretch quite a bit. And it's really stretchy, so I trust that it will kind of relax a little bit once I get it blocked, and this rib will open up a little bit and give some more room. I think I mentioned that earlier, but this is where we are pre-blocking. I want to get this soaking and blocked so I can wear it to celebrate a friend's birthday tomorrow. This friend is precious. They're not a knitter, they're not a crafter at all, but every time I see them, they're like, "Did you make that?" And most of the time I get to say yes. And so I need to wear something new for them to ask about. So here's where we are. I'll show you how it looks after we're blocked tomorrow. All done. Hopefully this light makes sense. We are in the golden hour, but here she is all blocked. And to be honest, I've worn this, I don't know how many times already, and I absolutely love it. It's a little too hot to wear it now. It's like well in the 90s and very high humidity, so she gets warm really quick, but the drape of the fabric I absolutely love. The shoulders, the rib detail opened up beautifully, and I'm just really, really tickled with the fit. Like I said, so much so that I've already started on the second. Let's see. Boom. We have a sport weight version coming up next. I'm that thrilled with the pattern, but there she is. Thank you so much for watching this project. I hope you will give a knitted tee a try. From what I gather, people have pretty strong opinions about knitted tees. Like it seems like a garment that isn't super popular to knit up, but it's one of my favorites. So let me know what you think, if a knitted tee will be on your agenda soon.